This is Natalie. I ended a 15-year friendship and I'm still not sure if I overreacted. My best friend shared something deeply personal about me with other people. It wasn't a secret that would ruin my life, but it was private, and she knew that. When I confronted her, she apologized, but it felt more like she was sorry I was upset than sorry she did it. I tried to move past it. I told myself friendships survive mistakes, but every time we spoke after that, I felt guarded. I started filtering what I said. I didn't trust her the same way, and I realized I was the only one pretending nothing had changed. Eventually, I stopped reaching out. She noticed and asked why I was being distant. I told her honestly that I didn't feel safe sharing things anymore. She said I was being dramatic and throwing away years of friendship over one slip. That's what I keep replaying. Was it one slip, or was it the moment I realized the friendship wasn't what I thought it was? I miss her. I miss who we were, but I also don't miss the anxiety. My question is, how do you know when protecting yourself is worth losing someone who's been in your life for years? Such a difficult situation, this one. Because if it happened to me, I'd act differently than the advice that I would give. The advice I would give is, listen, put it aside, drop your ego. It's just something small, yeah, don't waste all those years of friendship just for this one little thing. But then I was thinking about it and I was thinking, if this happened to me, if it was personal, I would be fuming. I'd be raging. I'd do exactly what you've done. I wouldn't ever trust that person again. That's what I would also tell myself. But I know that wouldn't be the right thing to do. And I know it would be wasting friendship. And it would be wasting good times, because I think after calming down after a while, I think what I'd realise, if I stepped away and looked at it at a distance, I'd say, it's nothing big. They made a mistake. They don't see that they made the mistake, but I don't know, my experience in life is people don't always see what they've done wrong, but it doesn't mean that they're not apologetic or that they don't care. It's just that they don't see where they went wrong. And it's just a difference in opinion and perspective that a lot of arguing, it might not even solve. It's wasted time just arguing about who was in the right and who was in the wrong. What it takes is moving on. And what I see when I step out of if it happened to me, is I've probably done the same thing. I just haven't been caught. And you've probably done the same thing and just haven't been caught. So we can all sit here on our high horse when something bad happens to us. But at the end of the day, we're human and they're human and they've made a human mistake. Now, if there was a person who kept making that mistake and kept breaking your trust, it's a different story. But it seems like they've only done it once. I mean, give the girl a break. I get it. Your ego doesn't want to let go that she's not apologetic and doesn't think she's done it wrong. But she's tried to apologize for as much as she can. And sometimes that's enough when you're stepping out, not when you're in that. It's hard to see it when you're in that. When you step out, it's a different story. And if you look at it, it could have been worse. They could have shared a secret that ruined your life, that was embarrassing, that was really bad. But they didn't. And it's more than likely that the reason they did share that secret is because they realised it didn't have any big implications, so they thought it wouldn't have been a big deal in a sense. Now, I'm not saying that's right, but I'm just saying I'm saying a lot of what's happening here, and what the reason I know is because I'd be the same, is my ego would take over. I wouldn't be able to drop it. It's the point. It's the point that they've shared a secret. It doesn't matter what that secret is. It's the point that they shared it. But if you drop that ego and you realize nothing bad has actually happened, nothing's actually gone on, and it is normal to be guarded after that and to be distant. But I know, I can tell by the words you're using, deep down, you want that friend back. Deep down, you know it's not worth it. It's your ego holding you back and saying, I have to be the one on top here. I have to be right. I have to be stubborn and stick to that point that it wasn't right because it could happen again. And absolutely, it could happen again. But my experience in life is you get upset. People upset you. Bad things happen to you. And it's out of your control. And we can't go on living a life expecting nothing that we disagree with happening to us. And we just push everyone away. That's how I sometimes try and see it. And like I said, it's completely different when it happens to you than when you're reading the perspective of someone else. It's so much harder. But if you make friends with anyone, eventually they're gonna tell a secret to someone. They just are. Because someone doesn't see the same value you do in the secrets that you're telling, because it's personal to you, and it's almost impossible to pass that message on with the emotion. God, it must be the most perfect human being if they're going to pass something on, if they're going to receive something, and they're going to understand fully, and they're not going to share it with anyone. It's going to be a perfect human, that. It's going to be unrealistic. And I look at your options here. You can either make a new friend, and the risk is they'll do the same because you haven't got those years of experience with them. And what, you've done nothing wrong in the 15 years that you've been friends? It's the time to let things go. We can't hold on to things like these. We have to just let it go. We have to just accept that that's the situation, that that's what's happened. I don't like it. I don't like the future, that I might not be able to trust this person. But that's what life is. That's how life is. It's rare that we find a situation where someone is 100% trustworthy. Someone is perfect. And it doesn't mean you then go in your shell, that you then don't share something. The only way trust is earned is when you open yourself up and you share those risky things. And you risk it. And without situations like this, where you've trusted someone and they've hurt you. Without these situations, we wouldn't know how valuable trust is. Look how many secrets you've told and how many have been told. Let's say you've said, over the 15 years, you've said 100 and one has hurt you. One secret that you've told that she's passed on and made a mistake, and he's sorry for upsetting you. 1 out of 100, and you want to throw it all away. But we forget about the 100. We forget about the 15 years of loyalty, of good behaviour. And I think that a lot about in life. The good behaviour goes unnoticed. There isn't really a big reward for being good when you compare it to the perspective when someone does something negative. All the tables get flipped over, chairs go in the air, everything gets chucked against the wall, broken, smashed up, we're fuming, we're raging. Our world's tipped upside down. We want to just get rid of everything. Rage happens when something negative happens. Something negative goes on. But we forget that when the majority of the time is good times, is positives, we forget to celebrate them as much as we rage about the negatives. Our behaviors are so disproportionate, inconsistent, because our egos take over and we get upset, we get hurt, and that's what's happening here. You just hurt, and you hurt that the other person doesn't recognize necessarily that they have hurt you as much as they have. And that could be on you, that you haven't communicated that well enough, because most of the times it does get into an argument. Listen, you obviously both disagree with how this has gone, and you're probably not going to get a solution, and you're going to hold a grudge. But getting over these things is what friendships is about. Just because you've known someone for 15 years doesn't make it a friendship. The things that make it a friendship is the trust that you're on about, is the mistakes also that you're on about, that you get past, that you get over. So on the other side of the coin, for both of you, if you can't get over this, was your friendship even worth anything anyway? Because this relationship, or any relationship, is a partnership. Is two people working together to try and get the best for each other. And that word compromise has to come into play here, just like in any relationship. And you have to learn how to forgive and not hold grudges. You know, this is a teaching moment in life. This is a lesson to be learned, not to never trust someone again, but to learn to let go and forgive. When you're raging, when you're so upset, but when the other person just isn't seeing the perspective that you've got, that just isn't on the same page as you, and that's going to happen more than once in life. But this is a lesson where you get taught to let things go. Otherwise, we live life with grudges. We hold on to these negatives, and it shapes us and it affects us in such a negative way that it's silly. Because like I said, you trusted this person 100 times, but one time you mistrust them. All them 100 times go out the window. And all you got to do, right now you've got no trust, and you've just got to build that trust back up. Like I said, you've got to be vulnerable. You've got to put another risk in place to gain that trust, to work that trust back up. And like I said, any new friend you're going to make, you're going to have to do the same thing. It's even more nerve-wracking because you don't know the reaction. You have no idea what's going to go on. At least this one, you can have a bit of an expectation. And if that other person is a good friend, hopefully they'll see and they'll recognize, even though I don't think I've done something wrong, I am sorry for upsetting you. I think they've said that. Sometimes, is that not enough? You know, they could have argued till the death that they didn't do anything wrong and they're not apologizing. But this person has apologized for as much as they can. I mean, that's worth something. And I'm not saying you're in the wrong here for the way that you're feeling and for what's going on. Absolutely not. It's normal. And like I said, I would feel the exact same way. I would be saying I'm never trusting anyone ever again. But it's just not how life works. We just can't be that way. I mean, it's immature, but it's a thing that's normal in the world. That's why we've had so many wars. It's why we've had so much conflict. It's why we have so much conflict, because people can't drop their egos, because they can't apologize, because they can't recognize when it's time to let go and give in. And don't get me wrong, it's so hard to learn that lesson and learn that trait. I have not got that, but I know I need it. I know for my own self I need it. I don't need it to make their life better. I need it to make my life better, because the potential of joy here, of this friendship, if you're saying it's a good friendship and it's not just, it's been 15 years, you miss them. You miss the person. So stop making yourself suffer and just let go. And don't hold back. Talk about how you feel. Talk about the next secret that you tell. Listen, I'm telling you this, but it feels even worse. I feel even more insecure because of the past one. And I'm not criticizing you, and I'm not bringing it up again and holding you to it. I'm just letting you know this is how I feel about this. So please, don't break my trust again with this, because it will hurt me more than the first one hurt me. And that's all you can do. It's all you can do on your side of this, is just be honest and explain your perspective, but not hold on to that you need an answer. Just that this is your perspective, and accept that they have their own perspective. Because if we had people around us that acted perfectly, exactly how we wanted, it wouldn't be a friendship. It'd be something that would be forced on the other person's side. And also, we need a little bit of imperfection in things to make them perfect. The reason relationships like these are so valuable is because of the risk that they can fuck up. The more you trust someone, the longer you trust someone, the riskier it gets, the more fragile that trust becomes, because there's more pressure, there's more risk that if any small thing breaks this trust, it's all got to come down. It's like taking a brick out of a massive wall. You wouldn't take one brick out and then just bring the full wall down. But that's how we see trust. We see trust as it's got to be 100% of the time. Listen, 90% of trust in life is better than zero amount of trust in life. And it's a difficult one to swallow, this. And you've got to put your ego aside for your own benefit, which is hard to fucking see. I absolutely relate to that. And it doesn't sound like you've done anything wrong from what you're saying. And the thing that was wrong is someone broke your trust. But that's normal in life. It happens, unfortunately. Let's get our big boy pants on, our big girl pants on, and take this hit for the benefit of yourself. That's all I can say. But yeah, peace.